What's up, fellow Gen Xers and enthusiasts? Welcome to X-hale Rewind, where we're all about celebrating our unique experiences growing up as part of Gen X. We witnessed some truly impactful moments, like the Desert Storm, the Challenger explosion, the tragic passing of Princess Diana, and the death of rock legend Kurt Cobain. But hey, we also saw some truly amazing things like the Berlin Wall coming down, the rise of MTV, the birth of arcades, the launch of the We Are the World video, mixtapes, and playing Oregon Trail on the first school computers. And we are here to share with you just a little bit about what life was like as a Gen Xer. X-hale and Rewind. Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to X-hale and Rewind. It is a show where we dust off our collective memories and remind ourselves why growing up when we did was both amazing and slightly hazardous to our health. I am, as always, your boy and your host, Mike.
I'm your co-host, Juju.
And I'm Leah. And I'm so excited to be back on the show with you guys.
Hey, we're thrilled to have you, Leah, joining us after such a great response from our listeners and watchers. Welcome back.
Thank you. I promise to bring all of my random Gen X trivia knowledge and questionable fashion choices from the era to every episode I get to be on with y'all.
Nice. Thank you. For our first-time listeners, this is where we dive into the nostalgic experiences that shape Gen X childhoods. No filters, no Instagram, just pure unfiltered memories that make us both wistful and slightly concerned about what we survived.
Yeah, that's right. And I just want to point out real fast, we are smoking today. This is a medicinal channel. We do not usually smoke on our weekly shows, but when we have guests, we do. So hope that doesn't bother anybody. But today, we're going to be tackling something near and dear to our hearts and our stomachs, y'all.
A few moments later.
Now, we're talking about foods from our childhood that have vanished from existence. And we're going to throw in how fast food joints have completely transformed from those neon-colored plastic palaces that we all grew up with. So let's go.
I've already got acid reflux just thinking about some of the discontinued food items that I absolutely loved as a kid.
Seriously, the amount of food coloring we consume should have turned us into walking glow sticks.
Are you ready? Okay.
Right, but before we dive in, y'all, big thanks to all our supporters who keep this show going and help us grow. As always, y'all are the reason we do what we do.
Now, let's take a trip down memory lane, preferably in the DeLorean with a fully stocked cooler of discontinued sodas.
Sounds awesome. All right, y'all. I do think we need to start our food archaeological expedition at the beginning of the day. And that's breakfast, y'all. Now, the 70s to the 90s, y'all, were the golden age of breakfast cereals.
Oh my God. It was the Wild West of cereal. Basically, if you could coat something in sugar and float it in milk, it could be cereal.
And the marketing strategy was simply, how much sugar can we legally sell to children? I'm pretty sure my mom thought that Cookie Crisp was an elaborate prank when it first came out.
Yeah. Mom, it's literally cookies for breakfast. And then she's got to be all like, that can't be right.
But it was. And then there were cereals that don't exist anymore, like Mr. T cereal. I pity the fool who never tried it.
It was just sweetened corn and oats shaped like the letter T. The bar for creativity was so low back then.
Definitely was. Hey, y'all remember banana frosted flakes? Like, they actually had freeze-dried banana bits mixed in with the regular frosted flakes. Let's go, y'all.
Yes. And what about ice cream cone cereal?
Ooh.
Little cone-shaped pieces with ice cream flavored tops that turn your milk this weird beige color.
I was obsessed with crispy critters. It was basically Lucky Charms with animal shapes instead of marshmallows. And then there's those s'mores crunch. was absolutely elite. Top tier cereal.
Yes, it was. All right, y'all. The extinct cereal list is endless. We can talk about it all day. We got like hidden treasures, fruit islands, and do not forget Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cereal. Shell shocked, y'all. Let's go.
Yeah.
Morning Funnies. The box had actual comics printed on it, which was crucial reading material while you destroyed your teeth.
Now don't forget the C3POs. Star Wars themed cereal that was literally just a figure 8 shaped honey loop. George Lucas would license anything.
Hey, there's so much Star Wars memorabilia out there. The 90s especially went really crazy, though, with the movie tie-in serials. Jurassic Park, Batman, Addams Family. Like, if it was in theaters, you guys could believe that it was floating in your milk.
And so many of these cereals came with toys inside the box, which would absolutely never fly today with all the choking hazards.
Nope. And hey, remember reaching your whole arm into the box, that sticky bag, trying to find the toy before you have to eat the cereal? I can still feel that sticky, grainy cereal sensation.
Definitely. And if you have brothers and sisters, it was like whichever kid got to open it, got to dig it with the damn toy, you know? I also remember my parents getting pissed off because you'd open the bag from the bottom. That way you could get the toy out first. It's like, what's it matter? It's still the same cereal, Dad.
You're going to eat every piece of that $4 box of cereal before you buy another one.
Now, let's not forget those breakfast foods that are beyond cereal. Pop-Tarts. Used to have way more flavors like Dutch apple and strawberry cheese Danish.
Yeah. And what about cereal bars? Like, who remembers breakfast bars? Like, they were fire. They were the kind of like a Pop-Tart and a granola bar got it on and had a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Or how about Carnation breakfast bars? Those chocolate-covered bars that were supposedly nutritionally complete.
Yeah, my mom definitely thought those were health food. It has the word breakfast in it. It must be nutritious.
Hey, speaking of supposedly healthy breakfast options, though, what about Danish go-rounds? Like those swirl pastry things from Pillsbury?
Yes. They were made from just a flattened cinnamon roll marketed as breakfast.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
And then those toaster items like the Great Starts, microwavable breakfasts, little frozen discs that were supposedly pancakes or French toast.
All right. And what about Toastettes? Like, they weren't Pop-Tarts, but they were the knockoff Pop-Tarts that everyone seemed to have at someone else's house, but you never had them at your house. I ain't got those. I got the real stuff.
Let's not forget about the OJ of our youth. 5 Alive. That weird blend of 5 citrus juices that came in those cardboard cartons in the freezer section.
I miss the cardboard carton.
And Squeeze-Its for breakfast. Those little plastic bottles that you'd squeeze the brightly colored sugar water out of. And somehow our parents thought that it was an acceptable meaning
It's
of hydration.
It's the equivalent of giving a toddler now for breakfast a Kool-Aid jammer.
Yeah.
Or something like that. All right, y'all. You know, honestly, though, what really blows my mind is how many of these breakfast foods were explicitly marketed as healthy, y'all. Like, there was Tang, which people associated with healthy because the astronauts drank it. It must be good for you, right?
Yeah.
Astronauts. The original influencers.
Right?
Now, remember how the cereal boxes would say things like part of a complete breakfast? And the image would show a bowl of pure sugar cereal alongside toast and eggs and orange juice and maybe fruit.
Yeah. Is it really any chance that a kid was going to eat all of that? Like, that cereal was their breakfast.
I think my blood is still at least 30% Fruit Loops at this point.
Now, I think the weirdest discontinued breakfast item would be the Kellogg's Breakfast Mates. It was like this all-in-one package with cereal and a milk that you didn't have to refrigerate. And it even had a spoon.
The room temperature milk, like, that can't be stable, right? Like, what could go wrong with that?
Exactly. 0 children wanted warm milk on their cereal. That product was clearly invented by aliens who had never met human children.
Welcome to your planet to give your children warm milk.
It only lasted less than a year on the market. It turns out kids didn't mind going all the way to the fridge for that ice cold milk.
You probably had to go all the way there for whatever else. Anyway.
Let's move on to lunch and dinner options that have disappeared over the years.
Now, this is where the real processed food innovation happened, y'all. Like, the 70s through the 90s, they were the golden age of convenient food.
Yep. Everything was about making dinner easy. If it could go from freezer to table in under 20 minutes, that was a modern miracle.
Right? Let's start with some extinct fast food items. But before I do, Miss Leah, can you help me out for a second?
Yeah.
Could you hold your right arm out? Perfect. Boom. Now, McDonald's pizza. Who remembers that McDonald's had pizza? Is it good?
Yeah.
All right. It was hard finding that, y'all. Y'all not believe how hard it was to find that. All right. Anyway.
Yes, and it took forever to make, which kind of defeated the purpose of fast food.
And then they had the special wide drive-through windows just for the pizzas. Now, that's commitment to a product that would ultimately fail.
Right. Like, that's a big commitment.
Yeah.
And listen, it was all right pizza, but when your whole business is centered around fast food and then it takes you 11 minutes to cook a pizza, well, everything else is shit.
Yeah.
Then there was this McDLT with a special styrofoam container that kept the hot side hot and the cool side cool.
With a young George Costanza, Jason Alexander,
That's right.
singing and dancing about it in the commercials. It was basically just a deconstructed burger.
Yeah, he wasn't completely bald on top then, I don't think. But hey, the amount of packaging waste just alone was insane, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, it came in this massive clamshell container, and all just to keep your lettuce and tomato separate until the last minute so it didn't get warm.
Wow. Burger King had their disappearing acts too. Remember burger bundles? Those mini burgers before sliders were cool.
And the Burger King table service dinner menu. They'd actually bring your food to your table on a plastic plate with plasticware.
Yeah, that was their attempt to be fancy, though. Like, we're a real restaurant now, y'all. Come on in.
Speaking of failed fast food, anyone remember Taco Bell's Bell Beefer? It was basically just a taco in sloppy Joe form.
Like, I miss a good taco burger. If I'm being honest, bring it back. But hey, the 80s, now they were wild for fast food. Remember when Pizza Hut was an actual sit-down restaurant experience? I mean, they had the red cups, the salad bar, the whole atmosphere.
The red plastic cups. I could still feel the texture. And those personal pan pizzas you get for reading books through the Book It program? Nice.
Yep. And Pizza Hut was just fine dining for us 80s kids.
Definitely.
The stained glass lamps, the arcade games in the waiting area.
And don't forget, in some locations, they actually had tabletop Pac-Man, y'all. Let's go.
Let's talk about the grocery stores that have that. Like Jell-O pudding pops.
The commercials were unfortunate in retrospect, but the product itself was amazing.
Look, they tried to bring them back in the early 2000s, but hey, they weren't the same. Like, the texture was all different. Like, somewhere along the way, they lost the right recipe, I think.
Speaking of frozen treats, what about the original Choco Taco?
Ooh.
Recently discontinued, but a staple of ice cream trucks for decades.
Yeah, I'm still mourning over that one. It was the perfect ice cream delivery system.
Right? And y'all remember sliced soda? Like, it was fruit flavored soda that came in these really cool bottles.
Yeah.
Yes. And Crystal Pepsi, the clear cola that had no reason to exist, but we all tried it anyway.
Now, let's not forget OK Soda, which had a whole weird marketing campaign. It was so Gen X, it hurts.
Right. Those cans, guys, if y'all don't know, they had this bizarre underground comic style illustration. And on top of that, weird philosophical statements printed on them. Like, they're really leaning into Gen X cynicism.
Speaking of drinks, remember Orbits?
Dude.
That weird beverage with the floating gel balls?
I don't want to know in my drink.
It was like drinking furniture polish with tapioca pearls suspended in it. Boba tea's weird, inedible cousin.
Right.
Sorry.
That's nasty,
That's
too.
gross.
All right, but anyway, how about dinner options? Tuna helper and hamburger helper variants that they don't make anymore.
They had so many flavors that have disappeared. Pizza, pasta, Romano.
Convenience foods was the name of the game.
Right?
Remember space food sticks?
Ooh.
Yeah, the snack food allegedly developed for astronauts.
Back to those influencers, the astronauts. Let's go. Now, these were like these weird, chewy stick things that came in flavors like peanut butter and chocolate.
And they tasted like sweetened cardboard, but we ate them anyway because space.
Exactly.
The microwave revolution changed everything. Suddenly, every food needed to be available in microwave form.
Yes, like sizzling.
Mm-hmm.
Like that weird bacon alternative that was supposedly healthier.
And Hot Pockets precursors like croissant pockets,
Yeah.
those disappear pretty quick.
Hot Pockets. Oh, and who remembers Keebler's Magic Middles? Those little shortbread cookies that were filled with the chocolate filling. I would commit crimes to have those little bitches
What would you do for a Keebler Magic Middle?
in.
Oh, wait, I don't think I can say that. All right. And y'all remember PB Max?
Mhm.
Like, it was, if y'all have never had one out there, it was this giant peanut butter cup with cookie in it. Way superior to Reese's, in my opinion. Like, fire.
The candy aisle has lost so many classics. Bonkers, Bar None, Summit Bars.
Remember Reggie Bars? Named after Reggie Jackson? Yeah, this is basically just a round Snicker bar.
Right. Oh, what about candy cigarettes? I mean, they would definitely not blow today.
Nope.
Definitely with that red tip that actually looked like you were smoking something.
And the bubble gum cigarettes that you could blow powder out of to simulate smoke.
Our parents actually let us pretend to smoke.
We were so cool.
Our childhoods were a wild time. Wild time.
Y'all remember Gator Gum? It was this weird, short-lived Gatorade flavored gum that was super sour, but it only lasted like 12 seconds and nothing, flavorless.
And Hubba Bubba soda. They tried to make bubblegum flavored soda a thing.
Right?
Yeah. It tasted like liquid dentist office. Fluoride treat. Nah.
I know it came. Oh, my bad, Joe.
So, now that we've covered a lot of these extinct foods, let's talk about how the restaurants themselves have changed, especially fast food joints.
Yeah, like fast food restaurants in the 70s and 80s, like they were incredibly distinct, guys. They were almost like going to a theme park, and the whole atmosphere was above anywhere else you went and ate.
Yes. And they were designed to be experiences, not just places to grab food and leave.
Yeah. McDonald's is the perfect example. Those old locations with the red roofs
Mm-hmm.
and the actual playground equipment that was made out of metal and the hard plastic slides that would burn your ass in the summer and the freezing metal climbing bars in the winter.
Yes. So you had Officer Big Mac. You had the Hamburglar climbing frame.
Yeah.
And you had those weird, freaky Fly Guy spinning things.
And inside they had those bolted down plastic seats and tables in those signature colored orange, brown, and that weird mustard yellow that defined the 70s.
Yeah. Now, don't forget that creepy life-size Ronald McDonald statue. Freaking nightmare for me as a child.
Mine too.
I always hated when they had the live action guy there on special occasions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So scary. Anyway, those indoor play places really came later in the 80s with places like Chuck E. Cheese and other ball pit places that were definitely never cleaned and probably contained every virus known to mankind, y'all.
I'm sure scientists couldn't, get that out, They probably discovered new life forms in those ball pits if they tried.
Everything back then was made of that super shiny plastic. It probably could have survived a nuclear blast.
Right?
And now the modern McDonald's, they just look like an upscale coffee shop.
Yeah, exactly. And now, like, they're all muted colors, fake wood. I mean, it's really like they're trying to be Starbucks with their McCafe and mobile order. Like, it's McDonald's, y'all.
The golden arches used to be actual arches that were part of the building architecture. Now they're just logos on the sign.
Yep. Pizza Hut had the most distinctive buildings of all. Those red roofs and the trapezoidal windows. You can still spot a former Pizza Hut from a mile away.
You can. Like, we were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
Like, there's literally, I believe, a website called Used to Be a Pizza Hut that documents these architectural fossils. If it is, and you've checked it out before, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Inside was all red vinyl booths and those iconic red plastic cups.
Yeah.
It's so fancy dancy. Pizza Hut really wanted to convince you that you were having an upscale Italian dining experience while eating your personal pan pizza.
Hey, and Taco Bell, like, they had those locations with the Adobe style architecture and that giant bell out front.
Yeah.
Boom.
The interior had those southwestern style pastel colors. Teal and coral were everywhere.
Now all they have are these sleek, modern, spaceship-like designs. No personality.
Right.
Meh.
Yeah.
Meh.
Hey, Burger King. Remember how they had those weird plastic casserole ones? Kind of played in that whole king theme. Brown and orange everywhere, y'all. Woo.
And Wendy's with the fake Tiffany lamps and fall newspaper print on the tables.
Yeah, they were trying so hard to sell that old-fashioned hamburgers vibe with the decor.
Yeah, fast food places used to have a smoking section too, if y'all didn't know that.
Would you like to inhale secondhand smoke with your Happy Meal?
Yeah. And the drive-thru speakers, yeah, they were terrible. That garbled, static voice that you could barely understand.
Well, yeah. And, I mean, those people that worked there must have took a special class to understand your order because they would get it every time,
Yeah.
it seemed like.
Now, the person taking your order might be in another state with those centralized call centers from chain use.
Yeah. The menu boards. They used to have those little plastic letters. Half of them were missing. Yeah, half of them missing half the time. But now it's all digital screens that rotate through different promotions.
Right? Like, I say this all the time, simplicity. And that's what I miss about these old menus. Like, now you walk in, and there's like 200 items divided into like 42 categories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just overwhelming.
And combo meals. Those weren't always a thing. That was a late 80s innovation that's now standard everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. And the restaurants themselves, they were so much smaller, and the kitchens, you could actually see them making your food in the back. It was intimate. Yeah.
Fast food back then was really more of a treat.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't an everyday thing for most families like it is today.
No.
Now, they're trying to beat everything to everyone. Healthy options, coffee shop, dessert place, convenient upscale.
But they've lost that distinct personality in the process.
Right.
You know, I kind of miss those wild colors and the weird playground equipment from back then.
There was something so distinctly American about those fast food restaurants. Like, there were these bizarre roadside attractions that also sold hamburgers.
And they each have their own distinct identity. You can never confuse a 1980s Wendy's interior with a McDonald's.
Right.
Now, they're all trending towards the same modern, minimalist aesthetic. Subway, McDonald's, Wendy's. They're all starting to look really interchangeable.
Yeah, progress isn't always better, guys. At least when it comes to fast food ambiance.
So, with all these foods we've mentioned, I think it's worth asking, why did they disappear?
Look, there's a lot of factors, I think. Changing taste is the obvious one. The neon color, super artificial stuff that was cool in the 80s, it really fell out of favor.
Yeah. Health concerns, they played a huge role too. Once we started actually understanding things like trans fats, high fructose corn syrup, the food dyes, some of these products, they just couldn't survive the scrutiny.
Right. Don't forget about marketing failures. Like, a lot of them, like things like Crystal Pepsi, like that product itself wasn't terrible, guys. But that concept, it was just too weird for consumers.
And production costs. Some of these items were just too expensive or complicated to make. Like McDonald's pizza tying up their kitchens.
Right.
Yeah, there's also the issue of changing family dynamics. So many of these products were designed for the traditional family meal structure that's just not common anymore.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, TV dinners made sense when families were still sitting down together, y'all. They were wanting convenience. But now people, they eat on totally different schedules. They want different meals for the same meal.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think a lot of these distinct foods fell victim to our increasingly busy lifestyles. Foods needed to become portable, one-handed, and car-friendly.
Yep, the rise of microwave technology, it killed off a whole category of products too. Once you could microwave something in 2 minutes, rather than waiting 10 minutes for something, yeah, that just seemed ridiculous.
Who cares about the radiation? And let's not forget about corporate consolidation, because when big companies merge, they often streamline their product lines and it cuts the less profitable items.
There's also the cyclical nature of food trends. Some of these products might come back as retro items for limited runs.
That, like the McRib, the eternal comeback kid of fast food.
Boom, y'all. Now, do you think fast food today has the same emotional connection for kids growing up now? Just look at this McRib. All you Gen Xers, and tell me it does. No.
I don't think so. We have fewer options, but stronger brand identities. I can still sing commercial jingles from cereals I haven't eaten in 30 years.
Plus, everything now is customized and personalized. There's less shared experience around specific products.
Yeah, that's what made these extinct foods so powerful in our collective memory. Like, they were shared cultural touchstones.
Well, this trip down memory lane has left me both nostalgic and a little bit nauseated thinking about the food coloring content of my childhood diet.
Hey, I'm genuinely surprised our generation survived some of these fast food and other food products. Like, the amount of artificial everything we consume, staggering.
And yet, I'd still be first in line if they brought back pudding pops or properly made ecto cooler.
Well, hey, Juju, I tell you what. Hold your hand up like this for me. Boom.
Ooh, wow!
That's right, y'all. We can do that here. All right, but anyway, there's definitely something comforting about these foods of our youth, even if we know better now.
It's interesting how many of us Gen Xers have become much more health conscious about what we eat now, but still have this nostalgic love for the garbage that we grew up on.
Oh, yeah. It's the duality of Gen Xers. We're cynical about everything except our childhood junk food, y'all.
We would love to hear from you, listeners, about your own extinct food memories. What discontinued products do you miss the most? Any fast food or restaurant designs you wish would make a comeback? Well, share them with us on social media. And if you have photos of finished fast food interiors or any discontinued products, please send them our way. Thanks in advance.
A huge thank you to our supporters who make this show possible.
Hey, y'all, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review about what you think on the job we're doing on these shows. Check out all our shows on our playlist and tell everybody about these shows.
And a special thank you for the warm welcome, guys, that y'all given me as a returning guest on your great show.
Always.
Love this show.
All right, next week we will be
Hey.
Whoa. All right, I tried, y'all. I'm gonna get it out one day.
He's crazy.
Scared me.
Sorry.
But hey, y'all, until then, I'm your boy and your host, Mike.
I'm your co-host, Juju.
And I'm Leah.
And this has been the X-hale Rewind,
Where we take a big hit, guys, and look back. So we don't forget to look forward. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time.
So what's this weird discontinued food you'd bring back if you could?
PB Max, no question. Like, that thing was perfect. Like, for real.
definitely Taco Bell's chili cheese burrito. I still dream about it.
You know what I'd kill for? Butterfinger BBs.
Ooh, I miss those.
Candy, the
Like
chocolate
the
rice.
little bites and not too much. Peace, y'all. Stop it.